यमुना के तट पर बंसी बजाए, यमुना के तट पर बंसी बजाए, गोपियों के संग संग रास रचाए, गोपियों के संग संग रास रचाए। मैया मैया बोल हरि हरि बोल, मैया मैया बोल हरि हरि बोल, राधे राधे बोल कृष्णा कृष्णा बोल, राधे राधे बोल कृष्णा कृष्णा बोल, मैया मैया बोल हरि हरि बोल।
सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी। तबल्याचा थोडासा बेस वाढवा, फक्त तबल्याचा. सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी, करकटावरी करकटावरी ठेवोनिया, करकटावरी ठेवोनिया, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी. तुळशी हार गळा कासे पीतांबर, 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 आवडे निरंतर, आवडे निरंतर, हेची ध्यान, आवडे निरंतर, हेची ध्यान, हेची ध्यान, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी, सुंदर ते ध्यान उभे विटेवरी. तळपती श्रवणी मकर कुंडले.
Jai Shri Mataji, dear brothers and sisters, let's start the meditation for this new week dedicated to the Lord Krishna and developing our witness state. Let's start with a collective global namaskar to the Lord of the Lords, our Mother, under her form as Shri Krishna. Collective namaskar and collective raising of Kundalini with full attention.
तळपती श्रवणी मकर कुंडले. तळपती श्रवणी सगमदनि धनि धमधमग सगमदनि गमधनि धगमगनि धनि धमग मगधनि धनि धनि धम धनि धनि धमग गमधनि धमधमग गमधनि गमधनि गमरे निसद निस गमरे धनि सगमदनि ध पदम पमग गम गम धम धनि 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 ध ध धम धम गम ग सग धनि स धनि स गम रे धनि स धनि स गम नि ध मनि ध मदम गम धनि स धनि ध पम मग सगमनि ध धनि स धनि ध सनि स धनि गम रे गनि स धनि स ग सगमदनि समकर कुंडले. तळपती श्रवणी मकर कुंडले.
Talk of the day.
आज यहाँ अधिकतर लोग प्रदेश से आए हुए हैं, इसलिए अंग्रेजी में बात करेंगे। आप लोग अधिकतर अंग्रेजी समझते ही हैं। Today we are going to have the puja of Shri Krishna. In Shri Krishna's life, the river Yamuna has played a very great role. Yamuna river is a very deep river, and the water has a blue color, which they say Shri Krishna also had. While the river Ganges flows faster and much shallower than this river. Next year maybe we might go to Allahabad, might be able to see the two rivers meet. The whole of Haryana has been a very, very historical, mythological place. You must have known about it, that Pandavas and Kauravas fought in Kurukshetra, and also all this area has been used since long for meditation. Markandeya, whose name you have heard many times, meditated in this area. First he was in Maharashtra, where you have seen the Saptashringi. And after that, he came down here and meditated and wrote his treatise. Everywhere you find a place of a peer. Also they are realized souls who have been respected till today. To begin with, we have to say that this is the area of great spirituality. Because Shri Krishna lived here, and in those days there were no cars, not this transport. So he has vibrated all this land so beautifully. Very fond of playing near the river Yamuna. Of course, his childhood was not spent here, but later on, when he became the king, he used to visit this place many a times. We have to understand his character in a very special way. First we had the incarnation of Sri Rama. The Vishnu, as you know, took the birth of Sri Rama. But Sri Rama forgot his divinity. He was made to forget his divinity. And he lived like an ordinary person, became a king, like Socrates has described, the benevolent king. And he had to also sacrifice his wife. That's very symbolic, no doubt. The other part of North India will be able to see his vibrated areas where he moved. But Maharashtra he went without shoes, walked and walked and walked. Thus, this whole country is really vibrated by great saints and by great incarnations. Shri Krishna's one side was that he was like a child, and he wanted to create an atmosphere of mirth, of joy. Because at the time of Sri Rama, after him, the religion was taken very seriously. And people started doing very serious type of religion. The same incarnation again reappeared. Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna wanted to show that spirituality is not serious. It's Leela. It's a game that you have to play. And in his lifetime he showed. People don't understand him at all because from Sri Rama's concept they cannot condescend to come down to the, sometimes, to the level of Sri Krishna, which was, I think, was much higher. Because he had to show that all this world is just a joke, is Maya. And beyond that is joy. His own style was very interesting. That time they couldn't have such beautiful pandals, they couldn't have so many disciples. So he tried on his own style. And his style was, when he was a child, there were many milkmaids whom they called gopis. They would be taking their bath in the river Yamuna. Not here. He would just break their water pitcher and the water would flow on their back. This Yamuna river was vibrated by Radha. Radha. Ra means energy, Dha means the one who sustains. Radha, Dharayati Sada. Radha. And he didn't know how to tell them about Kundalini. So he used to throw stones, small stones, at those pitchers, and the water would flow down their backbone, thus giving them the blessings of the Kundalini. His style was extremely simple, playful, mirthful, and nobody understood why he was doing all these things. Also, when he was a very small child, there were ladies who were taking their baths. So he was trying to raise their Kundalini, and he hid their clothes. He vibrated them. So many people don't understand. A little child is so innocent. And he was teasing them and tried to show that life is nothing but joy. And he gave them those clothes. Later on, he grew up. Then he became the king of Dwarika. In our country, there are very westernized intellectuals. And they try to say that there were two Shri Krishnas. I mean, they want to analyze everything without understanding spirituality. What is the subtle thing behind it? He had 16,000 wives, as they say. They were his powers. See, for men, I am a mother. I can have thousands of children, boys, girls, men, women. Nobody can say anything about my character. But for men it is very difficult. So he got all his powers born as women who were married to some king. Not married, actually he had abducted those women and put them in jail. So he saved them from there, brought them out and married them. Now if you see, the accent is on marriage. He married them. These were his 16,000 powers. As you know, he has 16 petals and 1,000 of the Sahasrara, 16,000 powers which he married. Then he had 5 wives, for which also people have objection. Only Krishna can do like that. 5 wives are the 5 elements. The essence of them, the causal of them came as his wives and he married them. But he was such a detached soul. There's a lot of stories about detachment. There was one great Rishi, meaning a saint, a sage, who had arrived on the other side of the river Yamuna. This was in Dwarika. And there was no Yamuna river, but there was Narmada and Tapi. And they wanted to go and serve the sage. So when they went near the river, they found the river was all flooded. So they went back to Shri Krishna and said, see, we are going to worship the sage and the river is all flooded. So he said, all right, you go and tell the river a truth. By that truth it will go down. What's the truth? That Shri Krishna is a brahmachari, is a celibate person. He had 5 wives. They said, how can we say this? This is the truth. He said, you go and tell. Tell the river. And the river will understand the truth, the power of truth, will put down the floods. So they went and they said that Shri Krishna is a brahmachari. And the river went down. And they were surprised. How it can happen? This fellow is our husband. And how can he say that he is a brahmachari? So this, they served the sage, served him well, gave him food, looked after him. And when they came back, they again saw the river was in floods. So they were quite worried how to cross the river now. So then went back to the sage and informed the sage that, see, we have to go back and the river is in speed and we don't know how to cross over. He said, it's very easy. If you want to go, it's very easy. They said, how? How did you come? He said, Krishna told us like this to tell that the river is celibate. That I am celibate. And the river, Narmada is also a celibate river. So the river went down. Alright, then you go and tell the river now that I didn't eat any food, nothing I ate. I'm just fasting. They said this fellow ate like a glutton and telling us a lie like this. And how are we to believe this man? So they went to the river, and to the river they said that this sage didn't eat any food, he is on a fast, and please go down. And the river went down. So they were surprised how this fellow has eaten everything. And despite that, when we told such a big lie, this river has listened to this lie. So they crossed over. The point is, those people who are at that level, even when they eat, they don't eat. Even they are married, they are celibate. It's a state. It's a state in which you are completely detached. Absolutely detached. You don't feel the attachment of the work you are doing or the life you are leading. I cannot say how one should become detached. Of course, with the Kundalini working out and you meditating all that and fixing the Kundalini properly, it will work. You'll be amazed how you'll become detached about things and how you can manage things without feeling that you are doing it. How you can work out so many things without feeling even tired. It's a state, and that is the state one has to achieve. Now for that, whether you are at that stage or not, first thing you must notice how many times I use the word I, me. How many times I said, I saw these, I enjoyed these, this, I, that. Or this is my child, this is my house, something like that. When you start using I too much, then you are not detached. Try to introspect. How many times I say, I have got this work to be done, I've got to do this, I must furnish this, I must achieve this is the goal of my life. These are all words of illusion. Once you get detached, it's a state again, I say. I won't say that by standing on your head you will become detached or anything like that. It's a state into which one has to grow. So Shri Krishna's message all his life was complete detachment. Even when he went with Arjuna for a war, he said, I will be just the driver of your chariot. But I will not raise any weapons. I will not fight. I will be just your charioteer. And if you agree to that condition, I'll be there. Actually, when Arjuna had a question, how can I kill? These are my relations, these are my gurus, these are my close people, my friends, how can I kill them? And he became very depressed. When he became depressed, Krishna said that, do you know they are already dead? Anything that is born has to die. So, you have to kill them. Now people can say that Krishna was preaching violence. No, not that. But what he said, at those people who are adharmis, who have no sense of dharma, who have been so cruel, who have been very much against the tradition of dharma, they have to be killed. Whether you kill them or not, they are already dead, because they have committed so many sins. They are already dead. So you should not think that you are killing. But it's the divine which is going to kill them, so-called killing. And so the war started. In the Gita also people have very less understanding as to what he wanted to communicate. The first thing, the war is on and he's talking about philosophy. You can imagine the detachment of it. The first thing he told him, that you should take to jnana. Jnana means both. Both, as you know, is only possible through enlightenment. So he said you should take to jnana, to both, which is enlightenment. But people don't understand jnana. They think that by reading books, by reading all kinds of, there are so many criticisms of Gita, reading all that, or understanding about Gita. There are many in this country who are giving lectures on Shri Krishna. In their own lives they are horrible. So, he told the best thing that is to be done. That is the only thing to be done. He was not a businessman. A businessman will tell you first something that is not so good, then better, raising you slowly. But he said outright that that is the one by which you become Sthitapragya, means Sahaja. He said clearly. But Arjuna said then, if it is so, why do you want me to go on war, to do this karma? That is also very much misunderstood. Only after realization you can understand what he meant by doing karma. He said it very clear that you do your work, karmas, your whatever you have to do, your action, and put it at my lotus feet, which is an impossible situation. As long as you have the sense that you are doing something, ahambhava, that due to ego you might call it, as long as you have this feeling within you, or maybe when there is still that I is existing within you, you may say that I am putting it at the lotus feet of God, but you don't. Because Shri Krishna knew, after Arjuna asked the question, that human nature is not straightforward, they won't understand. in a straightforward way. So he was diplomatically told them, all right, put everything at my feet, which you cannot do. So people tried that. Ages they have tried and they found out it doesn't work out that way. Whatever we do, we feel responsible for it. So why should we uh, think that we are putting at the lotus feet of Shri Krishna? For example, some people who were murderers, they would say, all right, we have murdered, all right, but we have put it at the lotus feet. This kind of a delusion happened. I mean, there were horrible people in this country who used to kill travelers in the name of goddess. All these misunderstandings, we suited them, they started doing it. So he said that your karma should be at my lotus feet. It's only possible after your realization. When you really feel you are not doing anything, we ask Sahaja to give realization to somebody. He tells me it's not going, it's not working. He talks like a third person. He becomes a third person. He never thinks that he is doing it. He is raising the Kundalini himself with his own hand. He doesn't say, I am doing it. Or he'll just say, doesn't work out for him. Doesn't work. What's the matter? He would just say, this chakra is there, this problem is there. But he would never say that I am doing it. So this karma, this action becomes a karma, means non-action. Though you are acting, doing everything, still you don't feel you are doing it. That's why he said normally people would not take to self-realization. So better to give them this condition that whatever you do, you put at the lotus feet of God. Then he asked about bhakti. So for bhakti, he said, all right, very clever, I am not that clever as he was. I am telling you everything straightforward. Because he knew human beings are too clever. And if they have to be convinced, they cannot be convinced just by telling him straightforward things. So he says, all right, whatever flower, water, fruit, you give it to me, I'll accept. That's the bhakti part. But this is now the trick. The bhakti is to be done when there is not the other. Ananya. Ananya means there is nobody else. You and me. That means you should be connected to me. Then only you can do bhakti. But nobody understands the meaning of word Ananya, or they don't want to understand. Ananya means where there is not the other. Means you are self-realized. That's the bhakti I will accept. When I get
Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let's start the meditation by being comfortably sit in a very relaxed way. Let's put both hands on the floor in order to connect with Mother Earth energy and the Lord Ganesh in Mother Earth. for auspiciously and Shri Ajibumi Devi mantra. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Both hands on the floor. Complete surrender to the Lord Ganesh in Mother Earth. We can also say Shri Adibhumi Devi Mata mantra with full attention on the energy of Mother Earth. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adibhumi Devi Mata Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adi Bhumi Devi Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
अब ठीक है पूरा रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं
Let's try and collectively surrender all the right side with the ego to Mother Earth, all the left side with the super ego to Mother Earth, all central channel and all the badass that are polluting our being, all the possessions, all the negativities, everything that is preventing the joy and the witness state to be fully established within our collective being, within our consciousness. Attention in Sahasrara and complete surrender to Mother Earth. Shri. Let's put the left hand on the lap. We maintain the right hand on the floor. Shri Mahakali Bhairava. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahakali Bhairava Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Complete surrender of left side and all the negativities and badas in our collective and individual left side. We just surrender them completely to the lotus feet of the Devi as Shri Krishna. Now, let's clear the right side. Right hand on the lap and left hand over the shoulder. Shri Mahasaraswati Hanumana. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahasaraswati Hanumana Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. both hands on the lap. Let's keep attention on Kundalini, which is going through the central channel and which is coming out from our Sahasrara in a very powerful and strong way and going upward to the higher chakras, leading us to the state where we become completely silent, peaceful, and completely witnessed. We need to experience this state, as Mother explains. It is by completely surrendering to Mother Kundalini and allowing her to guide us to that higher state where we can establish our attention and consciousness collectively. Let's say collectively Shri Ganesh mantra one more time, and then Shri Radha Krishna mantra. Om Tvameva Saksha Shri Ganesha Saksha Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Shri Radha Krishna. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Radha Krishna Sakshat Shri Adishakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Complete surrender to Mother Kundalini. Shri Adi Kundalini Mata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Adi Kundalini Mata Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
श्री विष्णु के 24 नाम। ओम श्री केशवाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री नारायणाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री माधवाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री विष्णवे नमो नमः। ओम श्री मधुसूदनाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री त्रिविक्रमाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री वामनाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री श्रीधराय नमो नमः। ओम श्री ऋषिकेशाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री पद्मनाभाय नमो नमः। ओम श्री दामोदराय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री संकर्षणाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री वासुदेवाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री प्रद्युम्नाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री अनिरुद्धाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री पुरुषोत्तमाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री अधोक्षजाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री नरसिंहाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री अच्युताय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री जनार्दनाय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री उपेन्द्राय नमो नमः। ॐ श्री हरये नमो नमः। ॐ श्री श्रीकृष्णाय नमो नमः। साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
कृष्ण के 16 नाम। श्री राधा कृष्ण। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री राधा कृष्ण साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री विठ्ठल रुक्मिणी। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री विठ्ठल रुक्मिणी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री गोविदाम्पति। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गोविदाम्पति साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री गोप्ता। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गोप्ता साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री गोविंद। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गोविंद साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री गोपति। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री गोपति साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः। श्री अमेरिकेश्वर। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री अमेरिकेश्वर साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः।
Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Let's keep attention very high and be truly united in the collective being of the Lord Krishna, the Virat. Let's collectively surrender all the baddhas, all the difficulties, everything that is preventing us to develop the witness state, to enter into that state and establish ourselves collectively into that state, where we are fully conscious that we do not do anything, and where we are also totally, completely, absolutely surrendered. Let's experience that state of complete surrendering and complete openness to embrace the witness state truly. Before finishing the meditation, let's go even deeper in our awareness, in our collective awareness, collective consciousness. Let's check our current state of meditation. Where is our attention? Are we truly in the witness state? Let's collectively, through our desire, collective desire, decide to establish ourselves higher, wider, so both vertically and horizontally, we establish ourselves in the divine consciousness, which is pure witness state. We do not do anything. We just unite ourselves in that state, that higher state of consciousness, which is pure witness state. Let's try and open ourselves 1,000,000 times more to that state, wider, greater, higher, deeper. Let's take our time just to come back from our meditation, but keeping that state, that powerful state of witness, which solve all the problems as long as we are not involved and we just watch silently, peacefully. Collective thanking our mother, collectively thanking our mother and the Lord Krishna for the meditation and for making us a family from the whole world, brothers and sisters, united through the power of Shri Krishna and Shri Radha. Collective Namaskar, Kundalini.